It is a feel-good morning because you're on your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, right here on S3. And this morning in the Johannesburg studios, we are joined by my radio family, all in the name of getting into some Relationship Tuesday advice. Now, last week, we were talking all about how you can reconnect with your partner, all in the name of, getting past those, I'll say, festive times. But right about now, of course, we're getting into 2024 and we're setting goals here and there. But then we are changing what it means when we say relationship goals, my friend. We are now talking about the fact that no, we're not just looking onto what we want to see, but rather what we want to see as a couple. So we've got in the house none other than the two individuals I get to work with on 5 Lunch at 5 FM. I am talking about the queen of comedy, Young Jolly, and the best lyricist in South Africa, Shabzi Medallion. Come on. Hi, guys. I haven't seen you in so long.
Oh, yeah. Like yesterday.
Yeah. So long.
It's a long time ago.
Guys, I know we came into 2024 together, but I want to ask you as individuals, how has it been so far? Shabzi, you can kick us off. How's it going?
I think it's going well for me. A lot of the stuff that I want to do for this year is already happening behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yes, some content creation work and a lot of consultation business stuff that I'm getting ready to launch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sorry about it. Thank you. And Yanga, what about you? How's 2024 treating you?
Lovely.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm a student again.
Love it for you. After graduating, of course, in psychology.
Post-grad, if you will.
Oh, sorry. I love this for you. So we're going 2 times now.
We are indeed.
Thank
and also
you.
we're taking comedy a bit more serious.
That's good. So with us only being, 29 days, 30 days now into January, what's your highlight so far?
My highlight so far is right now, being with you guys.
Hi, my Expresso family. Yes. And young guy, what about you?
I have to say the same thing.
Why do you like biting?
No, I'm also having fun.
I'm also having a good time. I'm glad. Thank you. But guys, I also know that, of course, 2024 comes with a lot for many different people. Some of us, we are single. You know what I'm saying? However, there are some people who are in relationships where it's important for them to set goals as a couple. So let's speak about that, because I think that when it comes to setting goals as an individual, it's a little bit easier because you're almost just speaking about yourself. But when you're in a relationship, you now have to take into account what you guys want to achieve together and as individuals at the very same time. Shabzi, speak to us about that.
I think it's important to first establish that you want to be in a relationship with somebody long term. We're living in a time now where being in a relationship is just a thing for everyone to do. Yes. So you might not have the intention to do life with somebody. So if that intention is established, it becomes easier to start speaking about the future and what you want to achieve together. So I think the first place to start is do a vision board, You do a vision board for yourself, do a vision board for you guys as a couple. What do you guys want to see come to fruition in your lives?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And I mean, when we talk about any sort of goals, whether it's as an individual or as a couple, you always need to look at where exactly you're going, because sometimes people say you can't dream too far. You need to make sure they're attainable. So Yanga, I know you're a dreamer. What do you say though in terms of making sure that you do make sure that those goals are attainable?
I recently learned, well, not recently, it's a very old saying, but if your dreams don't scare you, then, they aren't big. So it's important for your dreams to be big so they scare you.
Yes.
And also, if you're in a couple and your partner's struggling with something, if you're not building something together, then what are you doing?
100%. And speaking of which, now we're talking about leaving each other behind. There are certain couples where things have not gone the right way because one was there on the other side and the other one was the other side. So I want to know very quickly, in terms of making sure that we're both, on the same speed and we're both looking at the very same things. Shabzi, what do you think is the best way to possibly say, okay, cool, we're going to try and be in the very same space in terms of making our relationship goals a real thing?
I think, we need to be careful about always being on the same page, because at the end of the day, we're individuals first, and we need to know how to acknowledge that fact, that you're an individual. When we acknowledge that first, it becomes easier to figure out what do we have in common, what mindsets do we share, what commonalities should we be working on together so that we are working towards something that makes sense for the both of us? So that when that goal is achieved, we can still recognize each other individually.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Phil, thank you. Oprah, please enlighten us now.
I was also going to say the same page is relative to the person. You know what I mean? I could see page B a completely different way than you do, but we're still on the same page. Are we technically on the same page? No.
Facts. That's a really, like, I feel like when we talk about people and just their own perspectives, that's why it's so important to have those conversations so that we do understand each other in terms of where exactly are we going, but also how do we see the specific thing. But now I want to ask you about when we're talking about exactly what you spoke about, Shabs, which is we are still individuals.
Yeah.
So sometimes people get lost in their relationships. They become their relationship, in fact. And one thing I also know is that sometimes people think that they can't do things on their own. So I've heard about how when they say you're making a little bit of a step into making relationship goals, you need to make sure that you start on your own and then you come together and bring together what you have, right?
Sure.
So, Shabzi, speak to us about that. Have you ever made relationship goals with a person? And
I
also,
have.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have.
All right. From Dr. Phil to Dr. Love. Tell us more. Tell us more. Yes.
No, I do currently have goals in my relationship, but I have goals with all my relationships in my circle, friends or brothers or family. That's why I'm saying it's very important to be intentional about your relationships. These days we're just in relationships and we like how we make each other feel.
Yeah.
But making each other feel good is not necessarily something that can get us to a goal that we want to achieve individually or together. But now if I tell you, you and I are in a relationship, what does that mean for the both of us?
Yes.
What would we like to see happen in our lives in the next year?
Yes.
Can we make it happen together?
In
Does it make
2024, I want to see us make R1 million. That's what I want to see.
Oh, okay.
As a relationship 5 lunch.
I got you. I'll just wire the money.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Expresso family, the beautiful thing is that we are going to be having a part 2 to this beautiful conversation. Do not go anywhere because the relationshiping is still going to be relationshiping right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. But right about now, the beautiful Zoe is standing by in the dining room.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
We are speaking about nice things that happen on your Feel Good Breakfast show. You're still on Expresso, and this morning we are joined by 5 Lunch producer and presenter. It is Youngam Jolly and Shabzi Medallion, all in the name of relationship advice, my friend. We are getting you 100% ready for the year 2024 in all the spheres. You see, this is why we say we're your Expresso family. Who cares about you? Now, guys, we've been talking about us and setting these goals as a relationship people. And of course, we even spoke about brainstorming. Shabzi, you spoke to us about that. But Younger, when we're talking about brainstorming and, you know, kind of going into it as a couple and deciding on what it is that we want for each other, of course, we also said you need to, you know, separate a little bit. But when we talk about brainstorming with someone, what do you think we need to kind of take into account to make sure that everybody's being heard and we're able to hear each other?
I think you need to be 100% honest and transparent about any issues you might have around, you know, certain aspects of areas that you want to grow in. So if you're shy, for instance, when we're talking about what we're going to build and like growth and everything, you need to be honest about the fact that, like, you know what, I'm actually a bit shy when it comes to these certain areas. Then I can help you with that.
Or if you decide when you're 45 you want to become a DJ, but you studied electoral science, you know, I need to know those things. And I need to be able to kind of understand what it is we need to do together. You know what I mean? But I want to then go to something that I know a lot of people sometimes forget to take into account as well, which is getting into sort of the building blocks of, okay, now we're deciding that we are going to 100% go into something that I know. We decide to kind of go away and do our things on our own, but then we come together. Shab, speak to us about something that we kind of need to take into account when we think, okay, now I'm going to be listening to what my partner has to say, and I need to now sort of internalize it and make sure that I'm doing the very best that I can do to help them to get to where they want to be.
I think what's important is to take note when it is your time and when it's not your time. You know, if it's my partner's time to shine and it's clear, I am going to be the cheerleader, the motivator, the manager, the supporter, all that I need to be in that time that she's having to shine. If it's my time, it'll be clear as well. And if it isn't anyone's time, we are consistently working on each other's dreams anyway in quiet, you know?
And I feel like when we're very cognizant of what it is, like, where we are firstly, but then also what it is that we want to achieve together,
Yes.
it makes things so much better.
Yeah.
But Yanga, speak to us a little bit about this. When we're now deciding on the goals that we want to focus on, right? And kind of maybe getting into a little bit of a plan, because I think you kind of touched on that a bit. The different ways in which we can get ourselves in a good stead and get ourselves in a good step, in fact, in getting into 2024 and saying, okay, cool, we want to take step 1 and step 2 and step 3. Speak to us about that a little bit.
I kind of feel like one of the steps is holding each other accountable. If there's a certain goal that you have, I, as your partner, need to hold you accountable for when you're dropping the ball.
Yes.
Like, if this is important to you, you should have been there. Why weren't you there? You're the one holding yourself back. Consistency is another one. Because if you're not being consistent in implementing certain rules that you've put in place
Yes.
in order to have these goals, are you going to attain these goals?
Hey, Oprah, you are spitting here. And Shabzi, you're also someone who's always spitting about being realistic. I know this because we chat every day there on the show. And when we are going one way, you're like, guys, come back a little bit, which is why we say you are a captain. And I know that when we are setting goals, it genuinely is one of those things where you're like, okay, cool. Let's be a little bit realistic. Let's speak about that.
I think people need to be honest with themselves. And it's okay to have a dream. It's okay to see others achieve their dreams and want to achieve the same thing.
Yeah.
But you might not be built to achieve that dream. You might not be built to put in the work that you need to put in order to achieve that dream. And it's important to be self-aware so that you align what you know about yourself with the dreams that align to you. I think that's what realism is about.
Yeah.
Being realistic is not about, oh, you can't dream big. You can, but then reverse engineer those dreams and figure out how can you do the work that you need to do daily to get to that ultimate goal.
And you even mentioned yesterday Kanye West wanting to be president. Ish. I'm not sure that those goals were. I don't think it was 100% aligned. Am I lying?
No, I hear you.
Yes, exactly. Just as an example of what you were talking about, Shabzi.
He's the president of music.
Okay, sure. Is he still? That's the question.
We're all still talking about it.
I suppose. President of controversy, maybe, perhaps.
Okay.
I'll
take that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But guys, before we close things off, I want to ask you each just to give just one nugget of advice when it comes to this relationship vibe and setting a little bit of goals for you and your partner in 2024. Shabs, you can kick us off.
Relationships are not a game. We're in a game to relate with each other these days, but it's not a game. Once you know yourself, you know your needs, you know your wants. The people who are around you currently, are they serving those needs and those wants? And you need to figure out what it is about the people that are serving those needs and wants that you can contribute towards too as well, as far as their needs and wants, so that you have a relationship that actually is evolving into something that you appreciate.
Beautiful. I love that. And Yanga, nugget of advice, Miss Psychologist?
That was a huge nugget.
We will be eating it all 2024. It's perfect.
My nugget was short and sweet.
Yes.
I was just going to say the best piece of advice I got about goals and dating is to always be with someone who has just as much to lose as you.
Sure.
So if you don't know what someone's kind of reaching for, aiming for, is that the person for you?
Guys, why are you making people think so hard? Hey, come on, I love it. And also, I was going to say as well, some of us, our only goal is just to get into a relationship in 2024. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been the goal for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't know why my radio family is exposing me now. Oh, my goodness.
I'm sorry.
This is the team you can catch on 5FM 12 to 3, Monday to Friday. And, of course, you know that we always have the goodness here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, which is why it continues with Zoe.